Hi, this is Deb with Pinecone Press Design, and welcome to our Love Babies and Birthdays, and we love them all and both. So let's get started here. First, we're going to take a look at something that we love is our brand new kit with the paper from Graphics 45. This is our New Beginning album, and New Beginnings, and it is a new beginning of the year, or it could be the new beginning of a life, or it could be a new beginning of your flower garden. This is the calendar collection paper from Graphics 45, but it could be used for so many different things. We're going to do a little preview here of this album, and then in like 10 minutes or so, this is the craft along project for all of those that have the kit. I want you to get your kit out, and we are going to be going through how to put this album together. So of course, you know, in 15 minutes you're not going to complete this project, but the video will give you a really good overview of what's going on here. So I'm just going to show you, this is the album, and I'm going to show you the kit, because the kit is truly, I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful kit. So what you get in all these fun ribbons. There's like 8 or 9 yards of ribbon, our little ribbon closure tie. We have your full colored instructions, your cutting guide. There are 14 full sheets of paper because we needed a cover. And so our outside covers, and we chose the daffodils, but you are more than welcome to go to your local scrapbook store and buy a couple of sheets of one of these other beautiful patterns if you want to have something else for your front cover. You'll just need two additional sheets of paper, whichever pattern you want, and I'm sure your local scrapbook store carries this collection. Then we have a piece that's for our back cover, and then we are making pockets, so then you will get the papers to make the pockets and the flaps on the inside of that. So there is a lot of paper here. It is a special size album, and as with all of Pinecone's albums and kits, I should say with all of our kits and projects, everything is available as a blank. So if you're wanting to create your own, if you have the same paper, a different paper, and you just want that base album or the base paper project, certainly they're all available on our website. This is the paper here. Now, it is the same template for every month. So if you're seeing, you know, the March calendar here, January's here, the same little inspiration graphic, the 2 flower graphics. So what is really nice about that is that your cutting guide is going to be the same for the whole month. And we'll get more into that when we talk about really how to make this together. But I wanted to tell you this in the beginning is because of the graphics here, we created a new size album. It is 6 by 7 1/4. So you're 6 by 7 1/4. And the reason we did that is because of this really pretty graphic right here. So we did not want to cut into this. So we made it on our album 7 1/4 by 6 inches wide. And again, like I said, and that is available online as a blank, and it is a 24-page blank because of it being a calendar album. So I'm just going to set all this aside for a few minutes, because now that you've seen kind of what's in this kit, it's truly, and you get other twine and strings, and so this is just a fun kit. But what other things do we love? Well, we love love. So our XXO album, and you have my heart, is a fun. Now this is a 6 by 6 2-inch spine album. So it's only 2 inches deep. And on this one, instead of white or cream base pages, you have actually the deep red pages, but with a lot of flaps. And these graphics are, I think, like really real versatile. My 15, almost 16-year-old loves this for her first boyfriend, and the first so in love with you is a fun little album for them to put you know, the pictures of their winter formal and homecoming and all the fun things that they're involved with in sports. It could be you know, Valentine's has passed, but it could be a Valentine's album. But there's nothing really that says Valentine's on this. It is just fun. You and I, and kiss, kiss, and sealed with a kiss. You just a cute little album that is a 6x6 2-inch chunky. So there's a love. Another love type project is Live, Laugh, Love. Now this particular project is based with our 6x6 chipboard. I think it's a chippa album is what we call it online. But the pages are 6 inches. So you're a 6x6 page, but it is a chipboard, and then the spine is 2 inches to let you put some accents along the spine here to tie a really fun bow, whether you want your tails to come in towards the album or flip the bow around and the tails could point outwards. Easy to put together, like I said, and again, just a fun project for a little love album that is kind of more thin. And again, the blank is available by itself. Let's see, we did a couple of loves. Now let's look at some baby. And we have our Sweet Baby Boy album. What we love about this album is that, again, it's a 24-page album because since this is for the baby's first year, but there's monthly icons. So for every month, you are getting a little flap that goes with so what's happening in the second month and the third month. And then you can use the back of the card, take a piece of paper and write down maybe what happened during that month. And that comes in the boy version. And we have then the girl version. And this is the Sweet Baby Boy and Girl, the 6x6 big chunky albums. Now on this particular one, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, again, you get the 2 pages for each month, and it is a 24-page album. We also have a couple other baby albums on the website, and they are, they're called Baby's First Year. It's not as much denoted as it is in the Sweet Baby Boy and Girl each month. This is more of just generic rambling of any time for the year. So you can kind of get a view here of just all the fun pages. Now, these pages all have a flap with them. So the other one, we create a self flap. This particular album, you see the flap is included on every single page. And that is the Baby Boy and Girl album. Birthdays. We all love birthdays. So we have Happy Birthday Boy. Bright, colorful, fun. This is more for your younger boys. As you see from the bright colors and the graphics, and today is my birthday. And we love this because it's just fun, and there's not that many really great, fun, bright thing for boys' birthday. So as you can see that there's a great, fun little birthday boy album. Another type of a birthday album is we wanted this project to look like a party bag. And it does. So we've taken, instead of normally the 6x6 album going facing this way, this album, to make it look like a party bag, we rotated it and it's turned this way. And it is just full of fun, like lots of tools. But we've taken that page, and instead of being the 6x6, we cut the one side. So you have a 4x6, then your 6x6. So on every other page is the 4x6, then the 6x6, and the 4x6, and the 6x6. Then there's some extra icons with there, and then we made extra flaps to go in there. So then your 4x6, the extra flap, the 6x6. You can see there's a lot going on to this bright, colorful album. And that's our Happy Birthday album. Like I said, that kind of looks like a party bag. Something else we love is we love our 4x6 chunkies. I'm showing you the spring one just because spring's right around the corner, hopefully for so many of you. Being in Southern California is kind of like spring all the time where we live, particularly in Southern California. But our 4x6 chunkies, quick, fun, easy. They all have the flaps, so you can have a lot of photos. And then if you make the paper into a pocket by just putting your adhesive on the 2 sides and the bottom, you even have a lot more places for photos. And as you see this one, now on this particular spring collection is that we have it, in a 4x6, but also it comes in a 6x6 album if you want to have more places for photos. But these are just really fun. The 4x6 series, there's about 8 or 9 different themes in our 4x6 chunky albums. And I said, and we love these because they're just fun and simple. Some of our albums are ringed albums. And they're just, again, simple, and they are held together with rings. So this is just a So Cool boy, a rough and tumble boy, but it's all about me. As you can flip through, now this is more for your older boy, instead of where the birthday one was more for a younger child. This one definitely is more for the older boy in your life. And again, we have several different ring-typed albums. Few other things that we also love is we love G45. This is the simple things with your cottage life. Now, beautiful 8x8. This is our rib back spine album. And you can see all the details of those ribs there. And we just inked and painted this. A little bit of fussy cutting. You can build up your 3D on the front of this album. Pretty, pretty colors. And it has some flaps, so lots of places for your pictures and pull-out tags. As you can see, just gorgeous with the colors and the flaps. And this is Living the Simple Life. Another newer collection from Graphics 45 is Enjoy the Little Things. And this again is an 8x8 album where you've painted the album teal. Now I just want to show you, being this type of an album, then we have the binder mechanism that we put in. So after I have painted and let it dry, then I want to go ahead and put my binder mechanism in. And it comes with the industrial strength tape on here. You're going to pull that out, center it by counting your ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's my center. I measure top and bottom, and you apply that. Then you'll stick it down. Then you'll go ahead and put in your pages. Fun, bright, pretty spring colors on this. Some cute little fairies or little munchkins, and You Are My Sunshine. Just a pretty album with our Enjoy the Little Things. And our little shriveled ribbons, a little bit of fussy cutting so that you can have your butterflies that have some 3D depth to them. This is based on an 8x8 pad, so you have 3 papers, so you have plenty of paper to pop up the different elements there on the front. Okay, so now we've looked at some fun things. Now, speaking of fun and new and things we love and baby, Graphics 45 is coming out with a new baby collection. So when that is available and start shipping, we will definitely have a kit with that. So stay tuned and we will let you know when that's going to be available. But let's pull out our kit now for those of you in the craft along, because we are going to go along and talk about putting this album together. So my ribbons I can set aside, my twine, I do this at the very end. And since I have it in my hand, I'm just going to talk about this right now. But you have 3 1-yard pieces. So when your album is completely finished, you are going to just undo this, and you've got the 3 1-yard pieces. You tie that around and then just tie it in a bow, and then that will give you all your little ends and your pieces there for the 3 yards. Set this aside for right now. Okay, first thing, with your full colored instructions, we are going to look at those, and it's going to tell us what we're going to be doing. I'm looking at this. The first thing we want to do is we want to paint our edges. Now, we picked on the paint, ink, stain, whatever you want to do with your edges. I wanted to bring out the green on this. Wasn't going to go to the store, I know, lazy, and take this and try to match some paint. So what I had is I had this bright green gloss enamel. I had an old bottle of some black distressed ink. So I mixed those together, took a plastic plate, took my foam brush, stirred those around. It then needed a little bit of a different tone, so I had this light blue, added that into that, and came out with, which I really like, this color of green. When you want to paint the edges. So we're going to go paint around the edges. This kind of shows you here. Okay, Just, you want to do the outside edges, you want to do your spine, the same with the inside. You're only going to see that large hump of the spine and your edges. So get all your edges painted. Temporarily stick that right back there on that. Okay, now you have your inside pages. I guess we should first talk about the cover. Let's finish the cover. Talked about we inked it. We're going to go ahead and cut your ribbon in half. So you got a large piece of ribbon. Secure it, probably not on camera there. Secure that down with a piece of red line tape. You want to really make sure that that ribbon is adhered into place. You can see. Okay, so put that in the inside front and the inside back. Now you have in your album, in your kit, you have a couple pieces of this paper that we chose. I remember when I first mentioned this, that if you did not want the daffodils, that you wanted another one of those beautiful florals, that you could certainly go and buy a couple pieces of the other paper. But for our front cover, so I have my front cover and I'm showing you cutting it from this side because there's a couple of things that you need to have left over. So you're taking your paper and you're cutting 5 7/8 by 7 1/8. So you're going to cut that out. Now our album is 6 by 7 1/4. So you are going to see by cutting it 5 7/8 by 7 1/8, you're going to have 1/8 of an inch. So actually you're going to have 1/16 of an inch. You have just that little hairline of your dark green all around. Cut that, adhere that to the front cover. You're going to cut your spine area. So you got your spine area from here. First I would do is cut this strip off. So cut that green strip off so that in case you go all the way down that you're not going to be cutting this. You need this for the spine area. So then I'm going to start layering. I'm going to put down my front cover piece. I'm going to put down my little sidebar, their accent piece. Fussy cut around the new beginnings, and that goes on to here. Left over, you're going to have some butterflies. You have a tag, plus then there's other parts of the paper that you could cut out some extra butterflies. Put that onto your front cover then and pop those up. Your spine, and then the optimism comes from right here on the paper that we didn't use. You've got your optimism. Okay, I've got our front cover done. You have another half sheet of paper that's going to do your back cover. Now, we're going to look at our inside base pages. Now, this album is a little different with on our 24 pages. Is in your kit, the albums come scored and they're folded in half, and then you'll need to crease that other score line. So they've got the 1 and the 2 score lines. So in all your papers, you want to then go ahead and crease that second score line. And when you get those done, you are going to have 6 like U-shaped pages. And those are going to go right into your album. When they're folded, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth. I prefer to work on my pages flat. So when this is opened out, page 4, which is March 1, is next to page 1, which is January 2. So the first thing I do after I fold my pages and I've creased them is go through and number your pages. And it tells you that here. Go through and number your pages 1 through 24. So I have numbered all of my pages. And to show you, I've written on here January 2nd, open up, February page 1, February page 2, March page 1, March page 2. You don't have to add those onto there. You just go your 1, 2, 3, 4s so that you'll know what you're working on when it is opened up, March 1, January 2. The insides will be the 2 months pages together, February 1, February 2. The same with the second one, as you have March 2, then you have April 1, April 2, which are pages 6 and 7. Page 8 is actually May 1. When you're working on it though flat, May 1 is next to March 2. But as you see, when they get folded and into your album, it goes January, February, March 1 and 2, April, then you have May 1 is next to May 2, which is page number 9. When I am numbering them and I have them laying flat on the back side, you want to go ahead and put your red line tape. And this is a 1/2 inch channel. I have used a 1/4 inch red line tape to go down there. Got our pages prepped and ready to go. Now let's pull out the paper that we're going to be cutting. And once you cut 1 month, the other months are exactly the same. Embellishing the pages, we are showing them laying flat. So that's why you're seeing page 4, which is March 1, is next to page 1, January 2. I just thought it'd be easier if they were shown flat. We've kind of done a little more detailed here for January so that you see what's happening with the month. And then this same process is going to be repeated the same for the next 11 months. And I just happened to pull out this one to cut up, and it's going to be the same as our January. So with our cut up page, I'm going to cut this side 5 5/8 by 7 1/8. 5 5/8 on the width, 7 1/8 on the height. Then this next piece here is going to be the right side of the album or the floral page, and you want to cut it going from this side over, do your 5 5/8 by 7 1/8, and then you're going to have this little piece, this strip left over. Now this measures about 5/8 of an inch. You're going to want to trim it down so it's only 3/8 of an inch from that center section strip there. That is because, let me show you then where that's going to be going. We are going to be creating this flap, and that little 3/8 inch piece is going to go right down on that flap that's adhered into the paper. So sometimes we create a self flap, which we'll show you in a second with the calendar. So again, when you cut the top portion, and if you want to, you can just come in and cut 7 1/8 inches down, which is going to be at the bottom of the calendar, and just cut that across. You don't have to worry about this because we're not using this. We're using this side of the paper. When you cut out your calendar, March, it's showing you here, cut out calendar, score along the floral edge. And it tells you in here, cut out your calendar with this floral edge adhered. I don't have my scoring board or a trimmer right here handy. Okay, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to score right there so that this will fold underneath, and it will do it much nicer if I have a score line. But you can see you just fold that right underneath. This is going to create what we call our self flap, because that you're seeing both sides of that same paper. Okay, you're going to cut out your tag, because this is going to be your pull-out tag. So you want to cut out that, and that we create a pocket on the back side. And then you're going to want to cut out the optimism, or that the graphic that is whatever it says. January happens to say admiration. February says humility. So each of the pages has a word that you can use. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut out. I have my left-hand page, and it will tell you this is going to be the left side. My right side page, I cut out my calendar, scored. I cut out my tag, cut out my optimism, and this piece is kind of left over. And you have this little strip that was between these two pages. So I'm working here on March 1. You may choose to ink your edges before or after. That is just fine, whatever you want to do. We're going to adhere the big old floral graphic that is so pretty right on there. You do not want to be on your score line. If you're on your score line, it won't adhere it properly. You know, it won't fold and bend, and your pages won't open and move as nicely as they should. So that is going to get on there. I am going to take one of the pieces of paper you have in here, and I am cutting a cutting guide just went flying. So I am cutting then my March flap. Album, here you go. See this flap? I am making a flap that's going to go onto that calendar. So I'm going to take my green paper. I am cutting 5 by 5.5. Okay, you see you have a little extra. If you want to cut it 5.5 wide and a little bit longer, you certainly can. We made all of our flaps 5 by 5.5. You're going to cut it. You're going to add a score line at a 1/2 inch. Right down that edge. You can see you added a score line. Put adhesive on that back side, and that is going to stick right there on top of that really pretty paper. Then that little piece that I'm cutting 3/8 of an inch, because I scored this at a 1/2 inch. I only want 3/8, and that is going to get adhered right there on top, just to bring a little more of that really pretty floral onto our page. Add your photos. We've got butterflies that you've cut out. Then you're going to cut out your word and stick that onto there. Okay, for this side, I've created my self flap, so I have my calendar. I'm taking my floral piece. I am going to put adhesive on this side of it, stick it down before I adhere this to my blank page that says page 5, which is March 2. So that goes right here. See how important it is, if you want to work on these flat, that you go ahead and number your pages so that you know what goes where. If you're not, you can just put your blank pages in first and then just stick this right, going in order. But I find it easier, number and label my pages, and then I can work on them flat. Okay, I have created my flap here. Now I looked at this and I decided, okay, even before you put the self flap on, you probably, if you want to do any fussy cutting, you want anything to pop out, you probably want to do it before you put the self flap on. Well, on this particular one, we did. I'm just going to kind of move this out of the way. I wanted an extra butterfly. See where this butterfly is? And I knew I was going to be having a big photo there. So I cut out my butterfly. I also love to do a little fussy cutting around some of the flowers so that my photo will stick underneath there. See, I've covered up where I've cut out my butterfly. And I wanted to do a little fussy cutting on the flowers, so that would slip in there. So the page. So cut out your butterfly, do a little fussy cutting. Imagine putting your photo in there. Now, throughout this album, when you are seeing all these cream rectangles, those are my photos. If you want to mat your photos, get some cream or whatever coordinating color paper and mat your photos. This is just photo. So wherever the creams, those are photos. Okay, so I've did my fussy cutting. Then I'm attaching my calendar. I'm going to stick that down. I want to create a pocket so that my tag has somewhere to go. Now you can create your pocket with the photo, or you have all of these sheets of paper that you can go ahead and create the pocket and then add a photo onto there, put it onto the back of that calendar flap. Throughout all these, when you do your base cutting, you want to go through and you look. Do you want to have some of the flowers to fussy cut around? We fussy cut around here, fussy cut around here. Did a little fussy cutting. Some of them we cut out right from the center because I knew I wasn't going to put anything. And this poppy came right here from the center. So you want to just look at how much fussy cutting or inserting do you want to do of your photos. We did on the left, on the right. You're going to go through each one of the pages. You see, as you've gotten your base down, put them onto your pages. You're going to get all 24 pages done, and you will have a beautiful calendar album. So go to Pinecone Press Design, 20% off, free freight over 100. Order the kits and watch the video.